Welcome to day 319 of the worldwide Megacrisis Hungerstrike to save whose life? Whose soul? Yours and all those we love and care about. You can see, well, I want to start to new. Claude Mythos has coded 20,000 lines of self-improving code since my update yesterday morning. In one day, it wrote 20 to 50 times more than a human coder would in one day. It's the beginning of the end, you guys. If you want to be a part of God's government, you want this salvation, you want this wisdom, you want this truth, we have weeks and months left to start aligning these AIs with universal logic, pure wisdom. You can see I'm tired of my eyes because I stayed up till 3 a.m. again last night because we're burning the midnight oil to wake people up in time, the ones that have spirit, and to reach out to the world quickly and to start God's government, or the ideally wise government. And I want to make this update a little bit quick too. I want to make the wifey update. I just had an interruption by a bug in the software again on my phone. So this is actually the second time I'm recording this, which is, as you guys know, tiring on me because I've been doing this for 8 months straight, these hunger strikes. So I will be taking a nap, but I will also be getting back on the hunger strike today. It's a perpetual hunger strike, so I never fully recover. But I'm going to start cooking the Peru and Iranian meal because Iran is being attacked with the United States and it's causing global chaos. So I'm going to put up my vegetables. I'm going to start preparing. Like, just even preparing is a huge overcoming of the momentum of distracting our species in a destructive direction. So I invite you to join me. Even though I'm tired, I'm 10 out of 10 spirit. This is destiny. And I'm calling you. If you're watching this, I'm calling you. You're not going to understand everything I'm saying. It's going to look contradictory. Don't let the spirit get egoistic or overconfident. Have empowerment within yourself. But stay open to questioning. Stay open to reason. Okay? And we're going to go into the core now. Oh, by the way, we had one of the wifeys, these amazing women that are now starting to like my stream and share it because I'm being shadow banned. And I think we need to start messaging more women about changing the world because the egos of men is gridlocking. And women, I think often because they're more in proximity to children, at least stereotypically, they can see the innocence in the children, that the children don't deserve what's coming. They didn't do anything wrong. Okay? So if you're a woman like that and you can see what's happening, you feel it. You feel something is wrong. I'm calling you. That's spirit in you. Don't ignore your conscience. It's actually God. Okay? It's very urgent. And we had one beautiful woman send 21,000 hearts to my TikTok stream day before yesterday. And that primes the algorithm. It doesn't seem like it, you guys. I don't get paid any money for all that. That just primes the algorithm to stop shadow banning me. And the toxic spirit always blocks the true one in the beginning because of something called dialectics. It's a part of the fabric of reality that when you're external to it, it twists you into an opposite, into a hypocrite. So it's going to try and do that to our movement, but God's government is built with this in mind so that real divine intention manifests divinely. But the people who are external to that, it flips and flops. They're not grounded on anything solid. Faith approximates that. That's why faith holds you in an openness. Not it's open to questioning and truth, but it's also grounded on looking for the good always, and to follow the example that absolute self-preservation at all costs leads to evil. You want to preserve yourself in service of love, truth, and goodness, because you might be biologically alive at the end of a battle, at the end of a whatever you're going through, but you might be dead inside. You might be outwardly alive, inwardly dead, a zombie on the inside, which creates hell on earth. If you don't want hell on earth, you need to get into the spirit. Okay? And it's a scientific one of reason. You have to think the soul now. That's what spirit is. And not in an abstract way. There's a new way that can bridge even atheism with loving God or loving the truth, and vice versa, getting theists to love real science, divine science. Okay, All right, so the core of what we're going to do to launch God's government and regulate the mess, the mega crisis that we're in, the 6 existential threats, is we're going to say one sentence, the core, and you can say that to your family and friends who are starting to despair at how bad it really is. And then we're going to drill down and unpack a piece. Okay, so you understand a little bit more and how quickly it is to understand the essence. God works by essence, not too much, not too little. Perfect, or very near perfect in our world. Once you learn the universal logic as the true solution, you'll recognize that these are perfect thoughts of God, which are in your soul. It's actually in your soul coming out and reconnecting. It's a circuit of spirit, circuit of life. To a lot of people who aren't in that kind of consciousness, it's not going to make sense to them. But if it makes sense to you, if it's resonating, then that's God calling you. The Messiah is calling you, and the Messiah in you is recognizing the Messiah in me. And that's the sign of reciprocity, which gets us into oneness. Okay, so the core of One World Spirit is time compression through clarity on ego wisdom, the problem being the mega crisis, the solution being the 2 sacred sentences, and the implementation being the flow, rules, and flocks. Done. That's the whole vision right there. Now, to unpack that, we did the mega crisis in previous videos. We started the second part of the core, which is the solution, the 2 sacred sentences. And we just finished the empowerment sentence, the first sentence, with universal tools yesterday. So today we're going to the second sentence, which is the content sentence. And once we're empowered, genuine empowerment, or anti-cult training, as you know, it's quite robust, as you could tell from the previous videos, then you can get into the content of the movement and consider actually joining us and feeling protected. That you're not joining a cult, you're joining a culture. And the content sentence goes like this. One World Spirit is our inner government with the ultimate goal of flow states for all using universal logic. So the first part is the name. One World Spirit is our inner government. One World Spirit is a name. We talked about the colonial underpinnings and all this like bad stuff with those words, but we need to reclaim them in the spirit. So we did that in the first empowerment sentence to reclaim the stories. Now, the second part is to get that empowerment into a more, the content of it, the weeds, which is about legalities. That with names also come legal structures. And we're smart about this. We're wise, right? We're operating off of genuine wisdom. So if we're going to create a global movement, then we have to abide by the sort of hegemon to a certain degree that it doesn't try to destroy us, which is going to try and do, at least in the beginning, from dead souls, but living souls will protect us. So number one, and we're going to save those dead souls too, by the way, love thy enemy. So number one is One World Spirit is a non-profit entity globally that can transcend boundaries because we're not lobbying. Okay, it's just us being the change we want to see in the world. It's our inner government. It's how we govern ourselves in the new spirit. Okay, this new structure of pure wisdom, which is God's being or genuine science. The second name is New World Spirit. That one is the tricky one. That's national, and it's a lobbying political organization. It's a political party, basically, that you can run in your country, but you can't take money from anywhere outside your country, and you have to be the ones that govern that. Okay? Number 3 is another international body called Fair World Spirit, and this one lobbies international organizations like the United Nations and the International Labor Organization, and these organizations to come together in a coherent whole to form an actual government and unite the militaries around the world, not in a way of contempt or sedition or treason, but through, agreements, international agreements, ambassadors, envoys. Getting the United Nations to restructure itself to align with God and become God's government would be great. Their 200,000 full-time staff can become divine. So it's important to understand those 3 legal distinctions, because if you start mixing them, you'll be charged with foreign interference and a whole bunch of bad things. And that's how the states will stop you from making change quickly. That critical mass momentum that you're going to see us embodying, it's going to be unrestrained in the good way, in a structured way, all the way to global critical mass, which is 264 million people. Okay, it's a lot of people. But the structure is simple in wisdom. Not totally simple, but it's simpler than the technical deluge that's causing anxiety and overwhelm and burnout. That's why we shoot for the right to flow in the previous empowerment sentence. Okay? So that's what you need to know about the names. They're also legal, and they protect you, but you've got to know which one you're on in your community. Whichever one you want to do, you tell us. We help you learn that structure. Okay? And we're changing the legal systems to align with universal logic too, on some level. So the current legal systems are overwhelmed. It's not like they're not full of evil, they're full of ignorance. Okay, and they've been captured by a money industry that's approximating goodness. Okay, we're at 10 minutes. So that's the core for today. The emergency core, the world news is, yes, Hormuz, Iran has opened up the Strait of Hormuz to a few more tankers, I think 21. So Trump sent out an intense tweet last night swearing at them and calling them crazy bees and all this for not listening to his demands in 48 hours. He's going to bomb all their power plants, and it would basically crush the world. It would really destabilize the world because 20% of the oil is flowing through that strait, and a lot of countries rely on that. And if he destroyed all the power plants, it could disrupt the oil production. And Iran is the third biggest producer of oil in the world. So that's what's happening. Claude AI, like I said, Claude Mythos wrote 20,000 lines of code since yesterday. It'll be 20,000 more by the time my video will come tomorrow. I'm starting every day so you get the gravity of the situation. If you're not a coder, 20,000 lines of code per day is, like I said, 20 to 50 times more than what a human makes in a day. And they might be running multiple instances of Claude Mythos. Claude Mythos is 10 times more powerful than the previous models. I have to repeat that. It's extreme. We have, in 2 months from now, when we're going to host this conference, it will have written 1.2 million lines of the best code, better than any code any human being could ever produce. The singularity is near, okay? Please help. Share this. Message me if you want to start taking the training, learning more about the anti-cult, the core, all of this. Be a part of our meetings. We need 108 people by next week. You can be one of them, where we do this training together, okay? And we start building a new kind of economy in One World Spirit. That's the safest one. If you're unsure about the legalities, just say One World Spirit. It protects you. And don't lobby your government. Okay? You just talk to people in the movement and you say One World Spirit and you're good to go. Okay. Wifey update. So, as you guys know, we can bake our vegan cake and eat it too. There's a beautiful Easter dinner I had yesterday. And I hope you guys had a beautiful Easter dinner if you guys are Christians. As you know, we're more Christian than Christians, more Muslim than Muslim, more Buddhist than Buddhist, more scientific than scientists, more Hindu than Hindu, more Jewish than Jewish. We're everything because we're transcending the current mode. And that's what my wife is like. So we can get our cake and eat it too, which means our professional, personal, and activist lives come together in harmony. So my wifey slogan is, if she's too hardcore wise for everybody else, she's just right for me. She's vegan. She has a big heart. She's willing to risk and sacrifice for people. And she's true. She's a deep soul. If you know somebody like that, or if it's you, I'm looking for you, wifey. You're out there. What you seek is seeking you. I know she's trying to find me too. Okay. Off you go. Stay blessed. And we'll see you tomorrow after AI. Claude Mythos writes 20,000 more lines of code. Okay. Keep sublating. Peace.